Should we do now? So we're just going to let the internet warm up. Tractors. Favorite colour of tractor?
Blue.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Probably green.
Okay.
Green.
Yeah.
Definitely green.
Yeah.
Red.
Okay, so we're obviously not having a party political conversation here today, are we? So just introduce where we are today, sir. This fantastic. Just tell everyone about this show.
So, Arlington Showground, home of the South of England show. Been here, I would say 40 years. Before that, it was roaming of no fixed abode.
What was that?
And would be mounted in Eastbourne, where the hospital is now.
Okay.
I remember as a very small child going on a float depicting farming to the South of England show, and the farmer dressed as a shepherd, and our pet dog on there as a alleged sheepdog.
Excellent. We were talking earlier with the Vice President about, and we won't be very genuine, with myself and our colleague Mark Campbell from the AHDB, that we go to a lot of shows and events, not only in the UK and overseas, but we think this is one of the best shows, one of the best country shows. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say it's one of it's up there for sure. There are a couple of others around, but this is definitely by far a good one.
Excellent. So everyone, internet's all live. We're very proud to say that we're live with the South of England Agriculture Society from the South of England show today, and we're going live from the Young Farmers building, and we've got to thank the Young Farmers very much for allowing us to be here today. And also, we just want to say a big thank you to the sponsors, Fram Farmers. Who doesn't know Fram Farmers? Fram Farmers provide the purchasing, group marketing and an admin function for over 1,400 farming businesses across the UK. They stand side by side with farmers nationwide, purchasing farm inputs, marketing their cropping, and acting as an extension to their farm office. I'm actually a little bit biased because where I'm based up in Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk, we've got a lot of farmers up there who work with Fram Farmers, and quite often they'll say to me that they couldn't exist without Fram Farmers taking on that responsibility of the likes of the seed purchasing and the marketing of their crops. Their teams provide independent advice and market-leading expertise, enabling you to make the best purchasing, trading, and admin decisions for your business. So, Fram Farmers, thank you very much for sponsoring this technical forum that we're doing live from the South of England Agriculture Society. So, we've got a really interesting subject today of how do we collectively create more trust between the farming community and the general public. Aimee, why do we need to do that? What's the point? We don't need to create more trust, do we?
We need to engage and really build on trust, and so it's all about that continuum of trust and building.
Okay, Kendra, I'm going to ask again, we don't need to build that trust, do we?
I think we definitely need to build that trust. I think that in the UK, farmers obviously are they're one of the most trusted members of the supply chain, but we can't take that for granted. You always have to keep building and working and continuing to make that effort to engage with our consumer and public stakeholders, because 10, 20, 30 years from now, we don't necessarily have that trust in the bag, so we have to keep making that effort and bringing people back closer to where the food comes from.
So everyone, you can see where we're going with this. Our colleague Mark has done such a good job, such a mercurial job to get some really interesting speakers, and not just from the local area. We've got some interlopers who are going to give us their expertise. But let's do the introductions first. Let's go this way round. Introduce yourself to a few thousand people.
Hi, I'm Andrew Flake. I'm a fifth generation farmer from Sussex. We open up our farm to the public. So we open up for 5 weeks, 6 weekends for lambing. We get about 20,000 people. So we're a working farm, so we open as we are. So you see us how you find us. We don't hide anything. We lamb 800 ewes indoors and 70 penny for Sussex cattle, and then arable, and do lots of other things as well.
Yeah, check out his social media. It's brilliant. Sir?
Yeah, hi, I'm Peter Appleton, third generation dairy farmer. We're producing about 5 million litres of milk.
Wow.
So connecting with every member of the general public is crucial. They're all our customer. So for more than 50 years now, we've run a Blubell Walk and farm trail on the farm. That sort of built over the years. It has quite a strong charitable element to it. We've raised over £1 million for different local charities, and 51 years this year.
51 years.
And we'd see 20 to 25,000 visitors through each season.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Kendra.
Hi, I'm Kendra Hall. I'm a 2022 Nuffield Farming Scholar. I'm also a communications specialist. I work for an agricultural PR agency called Reverberate.
And just show off for us some of the events that you assist to run.
Yeah. Well, we work with loads of different businesses in the agricultural supply chain, from Arla to Lamb Show to, which is how we connected before. For farmers, lots of different great businesses in the supply chain.
Excellent. And also, just tell us about Nuffield.
So Nuffield Farming Scholarships are they're a charity organization. They basically identify who they believe are the future leaders of the industry. They give you a bursary to go out into the wide world and study a subject internationally that you care about. It's an informal project. It's completely self-led, and it's the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, brilliant. Peter, did you hear that? Future leaders, Nuffield. That's you and I out.
Yeah, good no.
I don't know about that.
Aimee.
Hi, I'm Aimee Snowden. I'm an Australian. I'm currently a Nuffield scholar as well. So I'm travelling and looking at agriculture education, which is why I'm currently visiting in the UK. So I'm looking at ag education and engagement models, which includes agricultural shows. Particularly, I'm really passionate about engaging the next generation in ag, so particularly younger kids that get really excited about food and farming. And my background is my family farm in southern New South Wales. We're hay producers, so I love that you brought in the straw crops for us, although we prefer lucerne. And we do a little bit of arable cropping as well.
Okay, Lego.
Yeah, I do have a passion for Lego, and I use Lego through a little side hustle called Little Brick Pastoral to showcase farming and
Look it
celebrate
up online.
Australia.
Look it up online. Keep going.
Find the Lego Farmer online, and you'll see what I've been playing with for about 10 years. That's kind of snowballed into my passion.
And do you find that Lego project's the wrong word, but do you find that attracts kids to agriculture farming because you've given it such a really interesting, unique, positive spin?
Yeah, absolutely, and not just kids, because pardon the pun, but Lego really connects with everybody, and people will just absolutely draw to it because they remember playing with Lego as a child, or their kids are currently playing with it, and will just draw in. And there's people like me who haven't stopped playing.
Yeah. When we get this recording up, we'll stick the links in for for your social media because they're great. Leighton, you were late to this. Why were you late? Go and show off. You want to hear?
Showing cows, yeah. No, I'm Leighton. Sussex, Young Farmer Chairman, also the South East Area Chairman. Very passionate about farming and the way that it's going to go in the future. I can see also I've got a couple of people in the audience that I do a podcast with about farming.
Oh, check you out. Okay.
So yeah, I'm hoping that I'm not going to get hated for being on this one, but there we are. So no, but yeah, very passionate about farming and the way that I want it to go in the future, and getting the younger generation in and kind of getting them understanding new ways of farming. To benefit the environment, nature, and also as well getting them to talk to the public. Like, I mean, we're here today at the South Indian Show. This is the prime place to have people to talk with the public. The cattle are here, the sheep, pigs are here. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, so I suppose this comes down to the discussion that we want to have. That the thing I find about agriculture is really human. No offence to say accountancy businesses, but can you imagine going to an accountancy conference? I'm sure it'd be very interesting. But here, the whole thing about agriculture is that it's very human. And it feeds all of us. But then why do we have this issue that 6 out of 10 kids in the UK don't know where fresh produce come, don't know where your milk comes from? How do we resolve that?
Well, look, you've introduced the entire panel here. We're all very connected with trying to get the general public back onto our farms and explain what it is we're doing. And most of our customers now are 3, 4, 5 generations away from the land. You go back 200-300 years, and most of those people would have been living and working on the land. They're not now. So inner city kids just don't get out and onto a farm as much as we'd like. We're looking to change that, all of us.
So Andrew, if you like to take the likes of France, I can't remember the statistics, but it's something like it's either 8% or 12% of the population are directly involved with agriculture. In the UK, it's now sub 1%, but we're a small island. So with the work that the both of you guys are doing and bringing the public in, how can we take that further to get more kids? Is this what we need to do? Get more kids onto your farm?
Yeah, we need to get more kids onto the farm. I think kids especially, they love seeing animals. They love going actually seeing. They learn by seeing something, not necessarily getting told and pointed at something, but if they actually go experience it. It's amazing to think that people need 3 meals a day which are produced on farms, yet actually the percentage of people that have been on the farm is tiny percent that people need to get out there, see and actually understand about it.
Yeah. It's a bit like I did a broadcast recently with a very large tomato grower, and I said, "Do you need a brand? Do you need a brand? That'll get more people to buy your product." And he said, "Max, no, you're wrong. What people need to do is taste tomatoes, because once you've tasted tomatoes or fantastic meat or fantastic milk or fantastic lamb, you've got them." It's a bit like the analogy that they talk about the Castrol GTX factor. Do you remember Castrol? That you start off with Castrol oil with your push bike, and then you go to your moped, and then you go to your car, then you go to your tractor. So you get them all the way through. But again, let's look at it from a PR perspective. With our PR guru here, how do we get those kids, those families more engaged with farming? What a question!
I love that you asked me that question, Max. It starts with values. We talked a lot about already that farming's very human. It's very emotional. Like all of you guys who farm, you feel very deeply what you guys do, and I think people feel the same. Like consumers and the public, they feel the same when it comes to animals and the land, and they just don't quite understand it. But if we want people to connect with us, we have to tap into that. And that's not necessarily about sharing facts and figures and educating people. It's about winning over hearts and minds, and it's about sharing values and why we do what we do.
Yeah. So, Aimee, let's look at it from your perspective of Australia and also in your travels with Nuffield. Does Australia have the same issues that we have? Can we learn from you?
No, absolutely. And where I've gone around the world, many countries are facing the same issues. And if we look at our labour forces coming into agriculture and across the entire farming production system, I haven't been to a country yet who said, no, we solved it all, and we do not have a problem in terms of attracting. So we're all in this together around the world in terms of agriculture lifting its image and that conversation around and engaging people to know A, more about their food and fibre production, and but B, also want to be involved and come along and join a diverse industry that's really exciting and is increasingly full of technology and innovation.
Yeah, well done. So is it not actually our fault? Should we be leaning on other people to create this education? Unless you tell me otherwise, you're not selling direct to the consumer per se. Either yourself, Peter, there's more likely to be retailers. Should we be leaning on the retailers to do more for us?
No, I don't think so. I think really the main line is the farmers have to do it. The farmers are the ones that tend the land. They're the ones that know the livestock. They know what they're doing. I think the farmers need to get out there. They need to be the ones to say, right, come on, I want to help you guys understand where your food's coming from.
Yep.
And allow people to come onto the land. Allow schools to come on. I mean, we do school trips on the farm that I work. We have schools come along. We get help from the government with that because obviously we're educating them. But if you don't have that, then you're not going to teach people.
Yeah.
And I know, we all know that some farmers can be very grumpy, and we all get looked upon like kind of, here comes the grumpy farmer kind of thing. But it's not the case at all. I mean, any farmer you go talk to, I guarantee they'll stand there for a good 10 minutes talking to you about the animals that they've got, the land that they farm, because they're passionate about it. And that's the whole point, is having the passion, the love, and the inspiration to teach young people.
I love this thing, just as a segue, this thing that's just come up, I don't know if it's nationwide or just in East Anglia, on footpaths, there's now a QR code, and you can scan it, and it scan the farmer. It tells you all that farmer, what crop is there.
I'm actually part of AMTE, the Farm Cluster Group, and under federal funding, we managed to get QR codes. So actually, on the South Downs Way on my farm, there is a QR code. If you scan it, a picture of me will come up, and I'll say, "Hi, I'm Andrew Flake," and say a little bit about the farm, basic information, which is amazing. Actually, it's quite amazing. People who actually do that and come up and say, "Oh, you're that farmer. I've seen you on that fence close," which sounds quite odd, but yeah, it's amazing actually how well it works.
That'd be brilliant to have Andrew on your phone.
Sorry, can I jump in really quickly? Because you guys obviously will know this better than I, but in the conversations that I've had with farmers that are doing this engagement and reaching out to the public and forming those connections in their communities, there are so many benefits, not just for, we're kind of talking about this kind of top level conversation of agriculture and food and livestock and whatever, but actually the individual farmers and their own businesses see a lot of benefit off the back of that effort and off of that engagement. It's not just about selling more meat for British beef. It's about promoting your farm as a community space and forging those relationships again. I mean, do you guys have anything to say further to that?
I think, as farmers, we're our worst enemies. Because we're farming, we're working the land, we struggle for time to do things as it is, let alone to actually integrate with the public. So if we had more time to do that, but then that's more cost, or we've got to employ someone else to do our jobs. So we need to educate the public. But actually, we're all guilty. We all need to give a bit of time either to talk to people on the footpaths, to go out, just so actually we are getting that information across there, rather than just thinking, right, I've got 1,000 more jobs to do, I can do that, and ignore everyone around.
But Peter, you've been a bit quieter on this in the respect of, do you think if we had your picture above the milk in a particular retailer saying, I'm super proud to grow this, create this milk for you, do you think that would sell more milk? Do you think that would endear the public more to the farming community?
I think if they had my son's picture
Nice swerve.
or my staff's picture, that would absolutely do the job. But you have to remember where we've come from. Wind back 30, 40 years. All the farmer had to do was produce food to feed the nation. And that balance has tipped now, where you are not guaranteed a market. That's what's changed, and that's what this group are gradually realising. Today's farmer is gradually realising they need to pick up some of the responsibility to market that food. So, something that we've done, which has been really interesting, all of our milk is ring-fenced to Tesco. So rather than trying to sell, market, promote our story to an individual customer, we've had all of the people out of our local Tesco store out onto farm, tractor and trailer ride, show them what we do, what goes into producing that pint of milk or pan of butter or pot of yogurt, and then gave them a beer and a sandwich at the end. So they in turn are our ambassadors.
Okay, because if you know the stats as well as I do, that 75-85% of all agricultural and fresh produce goes through UK retailers. So if we've got those retail workers inspired and actually understand where milk or potatoes or lamb,
and work with them, they are our agents. And there is this oft-peddled story that supermarkets are the villains continually driving price down. Actually, no. Largely these days, we produce on a world market, and world market plus or minus determines our price. And most of the supermarkets, I would say all of the supermarkets in this country, they have to respond to that pricing. And they do look to return a fair market price to the producer.
So let's go back to our international correspondent. Two big retailers in Australia, Coles and Woolies. How do they compare, do you think, to the retailers here? Do they have a symbiotic relationship with their farmers, their growers? Or
it is very much a duopoly, so there can be that differing thing and price wars and lots of things, so it can be a love-hate relationship. We obviously need them, but are they paying fairly? I think there's a real role for that in terms of engagement, as them being our ambassadors to share our farmers' story and to put a face to our farmers rather than just being our veggies just turn up. Well, who actually grew those cucumbers? Who grew those tomatoes? Who are the faces behind those? How are they engaging? What are they doing?
So I go back to my standard stat that 6 out of 10 kids don't know where agriculture fresh produce come from. It's really interesting hearing Leighton and Andrew speak, because to me, you're not farmers, you're businessmen, in that you've got the farming aspect, but you've also looked to put time aside to promote your business. And it's not promoting business that might come in the door that afternoon. It's for the long term.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whatever you do on farming, like he's got the post on the little QR codes on the post and things. That's brilliant. That's one way of doing it. Like, the smallest things you can do is definitely help towards the business. And you got a farmer isn't just a farmer. They're an agronomist. They're an accountant. They're
engineer,
social
worker.
Yeah. So they do a lot of work to get where they are. And obviously, it is nice just to be able to give up 5-10 minutes of your time to talk to someone and actually be appreciated for what you've done.
And to go on, Andrew.
As a lot of farmers, we think ourselves farming as a lifestyle, not necessarily a business. Yes, obviously we need to live off it, but we don't make all our day-to-day decisions around money, because we want to do it, we enjoy it, we enjoy seeing and rearing those animals, we love seeing the lambs at lambing time, we love growing them on, we do love the finished product as well, but you've got to have the whole system in place. So for us opening to the public, actually we opened in 1970, with the first time we did an open farm, and then 9 years after that, every single year we've opened for lambing since. So obviously not mine, my mum and my granddad were doing that, but we love educating the people, showing them what we enjoy about farming. Bring them in for lambing, showing the kids what a lamb is. Actually, saying where food has come from, and actually explaining if people didn't eat this, we wouldn't grow it, we wouldn't rear it in the first place. So yes, it does need a market, but we want to get people on to actually see what we do, what we love about it, rather than just, yes, buy this because...
I love this man. Earlier, he was showing Mark and I his figures of your kids, because you're so proud, you wanted to get them out.
Yeah, so I think, well, not farmers, there's so much going on, like you say, we're doing so many different businesses, we do so much on the farm, and actually trying to remember it all is quite hard, so it's good to get the key facts right. Yes, embarrassing, writing it with my hand, before my time.
And let's just talk about the tools that we've got at hand. You look at the setup that we've got here, you won't believe it, everyone, we're running off a mobile phone, transmitting to 17 different social media platforms, social media, technology, AI. When I started up my farming career, we didn't even have mobile phones. And Peter, now look where we are. Is that to everyone's advantage to be able to use that, to capitalise that, to keep on giving this message out? Can it be used constructively?
Oh, it's absolutely the future. It's way over my head. You might be surprised to hear, but we've all used SatNav to get here today. We need SatNav to guide people to our products. And just selling that story with your QR codes, with you logging on a daily basis, makes a huge difference.
Okay, so with social media, there's some. I've always say that when people come to me to say, I want to do a blog, I say the first 3 months is a bit like shouting into a wood. There's no one there. There's no one there. Then suddenly someone taps you on the shoulder and says, "Oh, I saw you do this, or I saw you did that. That's really interesting. Can I find?" Would you agree? What would your advice be to people that?
So we produce beef for Waitrose, and they've just started up an Instagram page, Waitrose Farmers. So all the farmers that produce for them are on there, and basically what they do is you'll just do like a video of you walking around your field talking about the cows or what you've just done or this is what you're doing. You post it, and I mean, for the first kind of like month or two, you don't get anything. You might get a few likes or anything like that, but then after time, people start going, "Oh, actually, I saw that," or "Oh, it's actually really interesting to know that." And it's just those small little clips or something that you can post. It gets so far, far.
But you got to
you got to keep doing it.
Continuity.
You can't stop. I mean, like with the young farms and stuff, there was a couple of years where it kind of went a bit quiet, and then they started losing a bit of interest. But then now all of a sudden we've got a great team out there that are now really focusing on all the events and all the social media side of things, and we're getting members through the doors like there's no tomorrow. Like it's brilliant.
And I won't name him, but there's a person that myself and Mark do quite a lot of broadcasting with, and he stated on a podcast I was involved with that his YouTube work actually pays the farm wages, and so he uses that as another farm income.
It's got a YouTube channel.
but this is you've got collateral on your farm that people want to hear about. They want to listen. And going back to my jingoistic thing about agriculture being so human, it's a very good form to potentially earn additional income. Negativity. What about negativity? Because you're putting yourself out there. There'll be some people that don't like what you do. Where I live in Bury St Edmunds, on my Facebook group page this morning for the local village, the farmer only cut half a verge on a particular field, and this person came on and said, "Oh, did you run out of petrol? Shall I go and the farmer's eloquently gone back and said, "No, the chap had to go to a wedding. He's coming back in today." So he answered it very constructively. Andrew, what's your thoughts? Because there's going to be some people that, especially with keyboard warriors, that
I've always been a bit more scared of technology. It's amazing. People can take a video of it, good or bad, and put it out there. And bad gets around a lot quicker than any good does. But I'm amazed actually on the public that they want to know the honest farming. They want to see it actually as it is. Yes, things go wrong on everyone's day to day, but especially on a farm, animals involved in that. But they love, they don't love when things go wrong, but they love when you explain what's happened, how you're going to treat it, what you're going to do. So actually, there's so much goodness coming out of it that way. I've got some very good friends who moved up to Lancashire. They couldn't get farm tenancy down here, and they started a company called Lancashire Land Boxes. Their farm was really struggling. They actually went to the RABI and they got funding because they couldn't afford to put the heating on. They really and she's really honest about this. And they've now started on TikTok, all sorts of different pages. I think they've got over 500,000 followers. Some videos have gone over 1 million things, and they're selling lamb boxes to the public and other forms of meat. But she does these videos, and she's honest, and she says everything about it. She said, that she had to go and get this financial support because she couldn't do it. And I'm amazed at the public how much they're actually supporting us. I never thought we'd get the support that we do. like our local, we'll get, say on Facebook, occasionally we might have a sheep go lame, as all animals do. We'll get someone complaining, oh, that farmer. And then you get all these other comments saying, oh, yes, the farmers, I've seen them, they're treating it. Yes, this is happening, or something else bad. So I think it goes in both ways. There's a lot of negativity, but actually the general company are actually helping us as well and explaining what's going on.
Okay.
Like when we open up for lambing, some people might say, oh, we're not happy with this, and like moan to us. And then another person will hear the conversation. They'll come around and say, we think you're amazing what you do. Ignore what they've said. Actually, it's amazing. So I think it's good, but everything kind of, it needs everyone's involvement to get it to go.
Well done. The big word, community.
Yeah.
Sounds like creating a community. Peter, have you got a community in respect to the work that you do with your bluebells? Have you got a community?
I guess our community starts on the farm with our staff, and we often have a conversation with our staff about the stuff we do on the farm. And actually, the barometer is how would this look on film, on the screen, on TV. If you don't think it looked good, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Right. So we're very, very conscious and try to imagine that we're being filmed all the time. And actually we are when we've got the Blubell Walk going on. Actually we are if we do Open Farm Sunday. Actually we are on screen if the vegan animal rights activists come round to visit us. We're happy to talk to them. We have no secrets. We have nothing to hide, and we'll engage one-to-one.
I'm just going to use the quote I used in a talk I did last week. In 1962, bear with me on this one. 1962, Robert Kennedy went to NASA on a visit, and there was a janitor with a mop, and the president said to the janitor, "What are you doing, sir?" And he said, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." And so it's a really important point. If we can get all of our team so enthused, and everyone that we're talking about so enthused of what they're doing, we're just going to have positive radars out there. Aimee, in your travels, have you seen examples of this? Because generally, most people are really excited to be working in agriculture, aren't they, globally, from what you've seen?
Yeah, absolutely. And they want to share that. They want to share their story. And yes, there's lots of rules, but if we're transparent, then people respect that. When we start to put a mask on and hide things up, that's when people start to get a bit cagey and iffy and go, well, if they're trying to hide things, what more are they hiding? Whereas if we bear it all and actually be really transparent and honest and go, yeah, my lamb was lame and this is what I've done to deal with that, then they go, well, actually, they're being honest, they're showing that, they're showcasing that, then we're actually starting to reveal that. It comes back to those sort of values that Kendra was speaking about. If our values are to be transparent, then we're going to build more trust with that.
So Kendra, imagine South of England annual conference in November. You're a headline speaker. You're talking to everyone about how we promote agriculture, how you promote agriculture within your farms. What would your advice be?
Authenticity, honesty, transparency, and values. Like those four things, if you really package those up, you can't go wrong. That's what people react to. They want to see real. They want to be a part of a community. They want to see why. They're willing to be involved and they're willing to support, but they have to understand the why. We talk about that a lot.
Okay, collaboration. But one thing I've learned over the pandemic is that we can have better businesses and better sectors if we collaborate more. We've talked like we're quite individual here, but should we also be endorsing trade groups, other organisations, other schooling systems, or should we just be lone people shouting into my proverbial wood? Peter, should we collaborate more?
Look, absolutely. I'm sold on collaboration. I'm an ex-director of Fram Farmers who are sponsoring this. You didn't know that. So they do all of our purchasing for us, almost without exception. And we're members of Arla, who are one of the largest milk cooperative marketing groups in the Northern Hemisphere. They do all our selling for us, which allows us to get on and do what we're good at. It's running the farm, it's producing the milk, and it's communicating more locally with our customers.
Well done. And collaboration with the trade groups that you're involved with. Again, do you feel you're a bit of a lone voice, or are they with you?
They're definitely with us. I can say that. Some people we know that they aren't, and they are struggling out there. There are definitely farms out there that are struggling, and they need that help and support from and collaborate with other people. But it's just a case of finding that. And I mean, there's plenty of different organisations out there, like you said, the Rabbi people, FCN, all of that. I mean, they're there to help farmers to be able to go in the right direction. Yeah, collaborating is one of the main things to be able to keep your business running, because for us, we sell to Waitrose, but you've got then like the abattoir, you've got the lorry man, you've got then where it goes to packaging and things like that. They're all involved in the same thing, but we are the main people that are starting that chain off, and you've got to keep us happy. To keep it going.
You're feeding the country.
And you've also got to come back that step. There's all the people before that farm gate as well. There's the research and the genetics and everything else that are going. And there's that continuum of careers and excitement. So when we talk about agriculture and engaging people, we're not just saying we need the next generation of farmers. We need the next generation of researchers that bring the tech in, and the next generation of suppliers, and that entire continuum that we actually want to get excited and engaged. Not just so that everyone can be a farmer, because not everyone's going to be a farmer, but what is the entire...
That's a really good point. And my day job, I run a recruitment consultancy in ag and fresh produce, and we're a real good litmus paper as to what's going on. And we've got a number of investment funds coming to us looking to invest in the sector. They're very excited about regenerative agriculture, sustainability. They see this as a good sector, good, clean sector to be involved in, perhaps in comparison to sticking up coal power stations elsewhere in the world. And they want to get in, but they don't understand it. But they've got a lot of pension funds to invest in it. So just as you intimated, it's not just the farming side, it's all the tech as well. So on a career perspective, it's very exciting for the younger generation to come in to be farmers or to be involved in the tech side. Politics. I always use this example of the Dutch diamond. In Holland, they have this great example of government, academia and business, and they work in this lovely virtuous circle supporting each other. And that's one of the reasons why the horticultural industry in Holland is one of the strongest in the world. Here we've got a general election coming up, unless no one's going to tell me we're not in Purda. We're allowed to talk about politics up to a point. What are your hopes as to what a new government, whoever it may be, whatever colour it may be, what are your hopes as to what they could do for us, Andrew, come the end of the year?
I think going to politics into farming agriculture, I think the one biggest problem is farmers are under 1% of the population. So actually we do tend to, I feel we fall underneath that actually our 1% of vote isn't worth as much as a lot of other people. So I do think as farming we struggle actually to get the support that we need. Everyone might say, we need to plant wood's good for the environment and everything else. To get that, the general public's view of trees are good. Yes, trees are good. But also having rotational grass down, having permanent pasture can actually produce as much goodness as planting a woodland. And we can farm it, we can manage it correctly, how we want for the environment, for the wildlife, and then still get a result out at the end of the day. So I think we need someone that will actually listen to farming, listen to all the advice that's out there, and actually help support us to produce food production, but goes hand in hand with the environment and all these other policies. It's not a one-trick pony, it's not a one-line, we all need to work together.
Peter, if I can just slightly answer Andrew's concern that we're a small chunk of the population. We are, but we have one of the strongest representing unions championing our cause, and every new administration, pretty much first in, is the chair of the NFU. So they punch above their weight. And if I had one request, one message to any new administration in number 10, it would be to value home-produced food more, because recent history has shown us that you just cannot whistle up another boat for another lorry load from Europe, from further afield.
And then there's a terminology that I picked up that government use internally, that we're but 4 missed meals from a revolution. So we've got to make sure that Joe Schmo out there has food on the table. And
then they need to believe what they're saying.
There we go.
And practice what they preach.
Leighton, do you agree?
I totally agree with all that, yeah, definitely. And for being a young person, voting is obviously very challenging. You don't get taught it at school or anything like that. Do you kind of just want the truth right from the beginning and for them to stick with that throughout? And you want them to be beside every single one, not just a certain group of people or industry or anything. It needs to be spread across everything. And for a young person, I mean, I will be voting, but it's a case of which way do you go, which is going to benefit me in the long run, and also my industry that I want to carry on. Hopefully, it will survive.
So, ladies, let's lean on your international experience again. So I'm stating that we're a bit broken here with my lovely example of the Dutch diamond. What have you seen internationally? Kendra, you go first. Are we better than some or worse than some? What do you think?
Well, I think going back to what Aimee said before, I don't think the UK is unique in any of the challenges that we're facing. I think every country I've been to experiences the same challenges, connecting with politicians, with businesses, with research. I think what we need is a shared vision across the industry. What are we doing? What are we making? Why are we making it? And I think that's something that British agriculture is missing.
Yeah.
Is some leadership and somebody to step up and create a vision that everybody can be working toward. You mentioned earlier on your farm, or you mentioned, sorry, about NASA, like the janitor, the custodian, he was working toward a mission. And I think that's what we need in farming. Inspire everyone, bring people in. People want to come in, they want to be a part of something, right? Yeah. And I think it's also a lot of that.
And Aimee, Australia's obviously perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have no political problems whatsoever.
Yeah, let's all move to Australia.
Yeah, American Aimee.
Why? What's going on in America?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, really?
It's very quiet.
And is there anything we can learn from Australia?
Probably not. No, we've definitely got our challenges. No, definitely got our challenges, and I think part of that is to making sure agriculture's got a united voice when it goes
back to pizza.
Going back to if you've got a really strong union, is it representing all sectors, and is there, making sure there's not competing voices when they get to there, and that's a really hard, really tricky thing, because dairy farmers might not want the same thing that your beef and lamb farmers want, so there might be some conflicts. And how do politicians deal with that? We are a small sector in terms of a global economy, but we represent and we look after the land, and so much so, how do we do that in terms of our numbers when we get to that high level of government?
So team, I feel there's a lot of optimism here. Success. What does success look like for all of you in the respect of how we garner more promotion, attraction, likability from the public to us? Andrew, what does success look like for you, for your farm, and for farming per se in the UK, 3-5 years down the line? What does success look like?
Success, I think, is more people actually appreciating and understanding farming, and for all to be able to see it, understand what's going on. I think success actually, from a little thing of actually, if you're outside and you see a farmer doing something, feel free to ask them the question. I'm great at talking to people. There's other farmers that don't want to talk to people, too much going on, etc. But I think you can ask the question, what's going on? I've been moving sheep and my dog did completely the wrong thing, and they said, why have you done that? And I embarrassingly said, it's as good as it's training, and I trained it, so it's doing something completely wrong. But other days people are actually understanding and learning, so I think success is that public gauge and kind of going on from there.
Okay, Leighton, what does success look like for you?
Totally agree with what Andrew said as well. Success for me is at the end of it feeling very happy about what you've achieved, knowing that people have gone away, like when the school kids come, knowing that they walked out that gate still talking about what I've just taught them. And just kind of seeing, like, for young farmers having the clubs and stuff, having a lot of members there, and people that aren't actually in farming coming along to those to learn about farming and just get involved. Like, young farmers isn't just farmers.
We've got to give a big shout out for the young farmers. It's such a good positive indoctrination to get into farming, because you don't need to be a farmer to be a young farmer, do you? Ever?
No, not at all. And I mean, they all have their blips, the young farmers and stuff, but it's a brilliant thing. We've got a training fund at Sussex where we're actually helping people get qualifications and stuff, so then that can actually lead them on into their career. But then again, it's not all about farming. We're doing the training fund for someone's just done a fax course, someone's done an accountancy course, and things like that. But at the end, it's like you were saying, it all leads back to what other jobs are in farming, right? You've got your research and things like that. We can help with that. So, no, definitely seeing people achieve things and walk away happy.
Well done, Peter. What does success look like for you?
Yeah, I think we're not far from success now, actually. Recent research has shown that agriculture, farming, is the second most popular profession in terms of appreciation from the general public, second only to the medics. So we should be optimistic about that. We should be very positive. And that is because of the work that we're all doing. So we're travelling in the right direction.
Talking of travelling, Aimee, what does success look like for you?
I think success looks like some of those statistics that you quoted at the start about school kids knowing about where those key products are, that they're improving that we're getting better. And things like agricultural shows and they're expanding because there is such interest that, the showgrounds can't fit everybody in. So instead of being 3 days here at South of England, we need to go to 5 days.
Like a month!
Well, they are in the US. The fairs go for a month. I don't know how people do it. Like the livestock exhibits, you're not going to want to be there for a month.
No.
So we won't encourage too much. We don't want to go all out.
And actually, just segueing into something that Peter said, I think there's a rapid movement against ultra-processed foods. And when we see more of that negativity, where are people going to go? They're going to go to fresh foods, and they're going to come to agriculture and fresh food because it's good for you, rather than the negative connotations of ultra-processed food. Kendra, what does success look like for you?
So I work in PR, reputation, really big on trust, obviously. And the current statistics read about 75 to 76% of the public really strongly trust farmers as members of the supply chain. I would really like to see that much higher, 95% plus. That's success to me.
Yeah.
75% is great, but that means 25% of the people don't feel a strong sense of trust, and that means that we have work to do still.
Yeah. And I just want to wrap up and use this opportunity that there might be this perceived negative that the public doesn't like farmers, but we've established we don't think that's actually true. But we don't have enough people coming into the sector. So can't we use that negative and turn that into a positive? Peter, why should people join the agricultural industry? Why?
There is one product that we're going to need in the future. It's food. Beyond everything else. So I'm hugely optimistic for the future. There'll always be a market for whatever we're producing.
Yeah.
Come on in. We want the bright kids. We want the guys that can adapt to modern technology.
Yeah.
We want the smart kids.
Yeah, well done. So, Angie, you've got a choice: being a farmer or an accountant. Take your pick. No offense to accountants.
A farmer with accountant wage, but that's
So how can we get more of the younger generation excited about coming into farming?
I think we need to show off now actually what we do, what we achieve, get people on farm, and actually realising that working on a farm sometimes actually it's a family. Yes, you might work for someone, but it's a family. Quite often family farms. It doesn't have to be a family farm, but it's a family. Farmers as a whole, it's a family of farmers. We all talk to each other. It's really engaging. It's really rewarding, and actually it's a life skill to produce food to put on that table.
Yeah. Leighton, how can we encourage more people to come in?
Well, to start with, we're at the South England Showground. We're seeing people walk past, they're looking around, looking at the animals and stuff. Come to one of the shows, see the animals, speak to the farmers. Everyone has their opinion and they're all entitled to their opinion. But at the end of the day, you've got to talk and you've got to work together. We're all on this world doing the exact same thing. And like Peter was saying that food is the most important thing. It is the most important thing, and you need to know where it comes from. And that's why you've got to come talk to farmers and just get in. And also join a young farmers club. That's the main one. That is the main one. Start there and work out.
Good show. And Aimee, you're revolutionising the agricultural sector internationally with your Lego farmers. But go on, give us your words of wisdom. How can we get more people into farming?
Well, for me, it comes back to whatever you like, whatever you enjoy. There's a career in agriculture with it.
Yeah.
So whether you're creative, whether you want to be in the lab, whether you really like being outdoors, whether you love animals or soil or machinery, the breadth of careers in agriculture is just so incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
There's a career in it. And to top it all, we have the most incredible opportunities. If you had told me when I was in school, like I could be travelling the world with a career in agriculture, that is insane.
Sat next to Leighton and I on a couple of bales in Ardingly. You've achieved everything.
Like it is just incredible. Like the opportunity and to travel the world and to talk to farmers and to like genuinely you can go anywhere and literally and there's common ground
one
and
big
values.
family, one big community globally. Yeah, okay.
It is such an exciting industry.
Kendra?
I think we need to be going to where the people are. Like this is an amazing opportunity for farming. Obviously, there's people coming to us. It's a ready-made audience, but I think we also need to be finding those groups of people that don't get out into rural areas, that don't get to see what we do on a day-to-day basis. Let's go find them too. Let's go to them and be in the worlds that they live in. Make them on their own turf.
So everyone, I was a bit despondent when we started this, when we were warming up, but actually I'm so enthused, and I love what you said, Peter, that to me it feels like the future is very bright for the sector, especially with the likes of these individuals that we've got around us, and we had thousands of people coming past us today. So what's the wrap-up message? That agriculture is in a good spot, but we need to do more, we need to collaborate, we need to work together, and if we keep going, we're going to create success of it, especially if we've got this the likes of the younger generation coming through, and the likes of you guys creating this impact not only in the UK and overseas.
And Do you know, we've talked about food production. We haven't talked about saving the planet. And if we're going to save the planet, farmers are going to be on the front line. It cannot be done without all of us making a contribution.
So everyone, get involved in farming, save the planet. I just want to give a big shout out to the South of England Ag Society for allowing us to set up this technical forum today, and also to Fram Farmers for kindly sponsoring it. See if this works. After 3, we're all going to shout out as to what is the best agriculture show in the UK. Right, you ready? So here we go. 1. Who is the best agriculture show in the UK? 1, 2, 3. South of England! No, they didn't hear us at the main stage. Who's the best agriculture show in the UK? South of England! That's a wrap. Well done, everyone.